Patrick, some sad news coming out of the Vikings yesterday. Jim Marshall, who should be in the Hall of Fame, 87, passes away. But I saw your column today in the Star Tribune. Really, not only a great player, but also a character.
Oh yeah, quite the unique individual. Someone just called me and told me that it was out connected to the Vikings. That the reason he and Bud got along so well is neither of them would lose their temper. They would just kind of go along with however everything was, and they were both deep thinkers and had ideas going in their heads, but they never ended up screaming at each other like I'm sure that that occurred with some other players that Bud was disappointed in. But he really had no reason to be upset with Marshall because Marshall played every game. So it is astounding, though. The Purple People Eaters played together for 7 years. I think it was 7 years, and they missed one start because Eller had a broken foot, but he ended up playing that game. So they never missed a game. They played every game. Different personalities, to say the least. Carl, you never knew what he was up to, and Alan, of course, was the erudite one, and then Marshall was just kind of the everyman. Here's the good news. So in 2018, Crevier wanted a Jim Marshall column before the Super Bowl was played here. And so I was able to go out to Jim's house and sit there for 2 hours next to him in this he had a big lounging chair that he loved, and you sat next to him, and he had something going on TV, but he basically just talked for 2 hours. So I wrote that column, and Glenn didn't want that column. He wanted the column on Jim's reaction to losing 4 Super Bowls and his reaction. So I rewrote it, and then I gave it to us at 1500 ESPN, the original.
Oh, wow.
And then, but when did we shut down that website? In 2021, something like that?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I went to our Hubbard experts. Nobody could find it. It disappeared. It went into the wilderness, into the
Ether.
ether, as we say.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Fury, he has folded connections. He wrote the book about the jump shot, and he's like this historian. And I lamented the loss of that column on Blue Sky yesterday, which doesn't have many readers, but Fury found it for me. So
How do you find it?
I think it's going to be my Saturday column in the Star Tribune. It's great because it's Jim talking about Jim and his life and everything. It's not other people talking about Jim. It's Jim talking about Jim. So
So had Sean
it's
printed it out?
well, I can print it out when I get home, and it'll be fine. Yeah, you can call it up. So, but he
Nice.
found it on some damn look up look up old newspaper articles or old website stuff. I would have had no idea how to ever find the thing, but it's him talking about you know his grandpa working for his grandpa on the farm in Kentucky and working for his old man at the bar and someplace, and his father wouldn't let him work at the bar until he could prove that he could go down the basement and carry 2 cases of beer up simultaneously, up those old steps, that folding steps that they used to have at bars and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like. So there's stuff like that in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing it in published for the first time, and I'm not bitter about Glenn, but it was pretty damn good, I gotta say. So,
Well, he
but
gave you
yeah,
a
he was.
column though to hold on for what, 8 years, 7 years?
Yes, yes, yeah. It was. It was. It's pretty good. But he was a character, but he kept to himself. I mean, he was quiet. But he just came up with stuff, and of course, there's great stories about what he did to kill time at training camp down there because I don't think, once he got a real experience, I don't think Bud ever made him practice in the afternoon or something. He just had to practice in the morning when the two-a-days were on. So he was just thinking of stuff to do, and that's of course. Today I wrote about the launch of the Frog, which
Yeah,
was a famous story down there. So
that's great.
anyway, yeah, he's unbelievable that he never missed a game, and neither did Allen or Eller there for a lot of years.
How is he not in the Hall of Fame? I went back and looked
I,
again. Longevity, statistics, I can't find other than four Super Bowl defeats. He didn't have a lot of postseason accolades, and I refuse to believe the wrong way run is held against him.
no, no, and I mean
Why?
he like held the record for fumbles recovered for years. For
He's
years, he was.
still, Jason
I
Taylor
think
tied
he's
him. They're
still
still
tied.
tied, Pat.
Yeah, he's still tied. I don't know how it didn't happen because we used to say, the old timers like Stedman and those guys, well, he didn't play good in the Super Bowls. Well, those guys are gone now. So how come this younger group is not voting him in? I have no idea.
I mean, there's,
Bud worked hard to get Kraus in,
yeah.
and he got Kraus in. Then he started working hard to get Marshall in, but that is still falling on deaf ears. I talked to Kraus yesterday, and he said he'll probably get in. I said, well, what the hell good does that do him? He's dead. So it's
It,
like getting Pete Rose in now,
yeah.
which is probably not going to happen. But if you're going to do it while they're alive, for goodness sakes.
Well, and he also was eligible with the first committee, right? So the normal one, not the seniors,
Yes,
from 85 to 2004. And I believe in
yes,
four, he was a finalist. He should have got in that way because now he's in these huge classes of senior committee guys and they look through it. But the fact that the original committee that does the work didn't induct a guy is ridiculous. And
yeah,
there's a lot of guys, Patrick, who played for the Vikings who never made a Super Bowl as a Viking who got
yes,
in.
yes. And of course, one thing we should not dismiss is that Sid's uh, pitch for getting guys in the Hall of Fame used to include telling all of them how stupid they were. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't throw bouquets to them. He threw. He threw horse manure at them, and then I don't think he had much positive influence with the Hall of Fame committee back then.
Well, it took who? Yeri a long time. It took
Yes,
Tingelhoff a long time. So I think you're on to something.
yes, yes, it did. Did it? Yeah, I thought Erie went in fairly decently. He still waited 7, 8 years,
I
something
thought
like
he
that.
had to wait because I thought the Vikings did a lot on his behalf to get him in.
Yeah, and Tingelhoff was. Yeah, I am shocked that Marshall hasn't gotten in. It's just, I don't know. I just talked to his bride, though. They're not going to have a service. They're like most everybody now. They're just going to throw a little party in the middle of summer, and that'll be a party worth attending. I would think the stories will be flying, to say the least. But as the son of an undertaker, this whole I think of not having funerals anymore, and just basically cremating everybody, and then having financially, it's not good for the business, for the
No,
family business. It's not good. You know.
no. Yeah, it's changed. Oh, and Yeri went into the Hall of Fame in 2001, so it did take him a while.
Yeah, it did. So I'm down at Mankato,
Yeah.
and for the softball, a beautiful day here. All six diamonds going. They're going to try to, in four classes, play down to the finalists, and then the finals. The four finals are at the U on Friday, where
Mm-hmm.
when it might rain. But it's a gorgeous day down here. And I saw the controversial picture from Champlin Park, and boy, I wouldn't say it's much ado about nothing. She's good. She gave up 8 hits and struck out four. Her team won 5-0. Part of the reason, as I said, because Egan ran the bases like Disco Dan Ford. They ran into about 5 outs. So anyway, but it's quite a circus down here, as you can hear.
Yeah.
Six diamonds going at one time, and a lot of grandparents and parents here.
Hey, last thing for you. How concerned do you think that we should be that Pablo Lopez walked off the mound with a potential shoulder strain last night?
Let me tell you that David Festa was scheduled to pitch tonight for the Saints, and I don't think he will.
Okay.
I would guess we're heading for the DL, don't you?
Oh
And
yeah, I just don't like shoulders and pitchers scare me a lot.
yes, yes, it's they'll shut him down, that's for sure. And you know, it's inevitable. That's why I say you need 7 or 8 starters.
Yeah, you're right.
But the good news last night is we found out when Jorge Alcala can handle the pressure. When there's a 7-run lead against a team that's lost 18 out of 19, right?
How bad are they? You've got the Rockies, you've got the White Sox, you've got the A. We have some awful baseball teams.
The Rockies last night won their first series after playing 22 series without winning one. So that was pretty significant.
Bud Black owes them a big thank you for
Yeah,
firing his
fired him.
ass.
But he probably wishes they'd done it 3 years earlier. But anyway, yeah, it
Yep.
is amazing. Now the Whiteys, though, I think they've won 2 in a row too. They're gonna they're gonna blow away last year. They're gonna win close to 60 games probably.
Yeah, yeah. But the A's are hard to watch. That is
Oh
not fun baseball.
no, and they don't. They send a pitcher out there. They're trying to develop these guys, and they walk the ballpark and they keep them in. And
Yep.
look, there'll be a nice team to win 2 more against.
Yep. All right, Patrick.
All
Enjoy
right.
softball. We'll talk to you again on Friday.
Okay. See you. Goodbye.
See ya. Bye.